West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the West Coast.
20 of them things. Yes, sir. West Coast Mindset, episode 20. And we have a lot to talk about for this week of sports, starting with a couple of players coming out saying that the NBA should ban the 65 game rule. I'll give my thoughts on that. Victor Wembanyama is having an outstanding year, and the dude spoke out and gave his case on why he should be the MVP. And with the MLB opening week underway, I'm ready to give my thoughts on who will win MVP, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, etc. And I'll give my thoughts and my predictions on who will win those awards. This is the West Coast Mindset. Let's get started right now. Beginning with the NBA 65 game rule and Cade Cunningham. Unfortunately, as I said in last week's episode, he has a collapsed lung. He's out for at least the rest of the regular season, if not the playoffs. We'll see how he is when he's reevaluated. But his agent came out last week and said that the NBA should ban the 65 game rule because, unfortunately, his client is not going to be able to qualify because he's not going to be able to play 65 games, at least 65 games, to qualify for the awards. And a lot of players have been coming out recently and saying that this rule is straight up BS and that the league made a mistake doing this rule because these players are doing all they can to go out there and produce and they deserve these awards. But in my opinion, man, they have to keep this rule. The NBA cannot budge. They cannot be listening to these guys coming out and saying that it's not fair, because it is fair, man, because they owe it to us. 65 games is not a lot, man. Think about it. It's not even a quarter of the season. You play 82 games in the NBA season. You play for 6 months, and to ask you to play for 65 games, to go to work for 65 games, it's not a lot, man. And these guys need to stop complaining and need to go out there and play. And it's not fair to people like us fans watching on TV, and to the people that are spending their hard-earned money, man, on these tickets, man. Because think about it. For example, I went to a game earlier this season with my cousins, and it was great to watch. But there was fear because with all the problems with load management and a lot of players getting hurt because they're either working out too much in the off season or not coming into the season in shape. There was fear that we weren't going to see the best players play in this game. I went to Lakers Suns, and it was on a back-to-back, which was nerve-wracking because now like people have to be nervous that oh yeah, it's a back-to-back. Are they gonna play this night? Are they gonna sit out this night because the back-to-back it's a lot on the body supposedly, and yeah, I was fearing that, and we were fearing that because it was Lakers Pelicans the first game, and then the next game on the next night was Lakers Suns, and I was nervous, like, oh yeah, is LeBron gonna play in the first game? Is he gonna sit out the second game? Vice versa. And yeah, we were lucky, and LeBron sat out the Pelicans game, and they played the Suns game, and we were lucky we were able to see LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves all on the court. They still lost that game and got blown out, by the way. That was embarrassing, but but still, like, it's a problem. And these people, us 95 hardworking people, are out there working our asses off trying to get these tickets, and even then, like, that ticket that I bought, I got it on discount, and that ticket was still $73 because of Black Friday, and I had a discount deal along with that. But yeah, I still paid $73 per ticket for 3 tickets, and it's ridiculous. And these tickets are way too expensive, and these people are working really hard to go out there and maybe just go to one game a year because the tickets are so expensive. And when they go there and then they realize that before tip-off that the player is not going to play because of injury management or load management or just straight up rest, that's a big black eye to the fans, and that's just a big backhand to us. And that shows that they don't care about us, and the players don't care about us, and the teams don't care about us, and that's just a bad look on the league. So the owners, to their credit, I usually don't agree with the owners on what they do, but to their credit, they said we've had enough, and they put the hammer down, and they said, hey, you have to play 65 games or you're not going to be eligible for NBA awards like MVP, like Rookie of the Year, like Most Improved Player, And the big one is All NBA, and this is the issue that Kate Cunningham's agent had when it comes to that, because he was in the running for MVP. I wouldn't pick him to be the MVP, but I think he's top 5 at least to be for MVP. But the big one is that, yeah, he's not going to be able to be eligible to be on the All NBA team. And that's something that I kind of agree with him a little bit. I think that when it comes to MVP and those other awards, I think that the 65 game rule should be on for that. But when it comes to All NBA, yeah, I still think that Kate Cunningham has to be at least second team All NBA for point guard. When it comes to that, and unfortunately, it's going to be somebody else that's taking his place because he's not eligible. But the dude is having an outstanding year. You know, he has the Pistons where nobody expected, and first place in the Eastern Conference, and he's having a really good year, scoring wise, assist wise. He's overall a great year, and he's not going to be eligible for it. But hey, it is what it is, and if the players took it seriously and they cared about the fans and they cared about playing before this rule even happened, and all these problems were happening with low management, thanks to Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, by the way, and that, yeah, this rule would not have came up, but it came up because, yeah, the players were not taking it seriously, and that's what they get. And I'm a young dude, and I usually don't agree with the old heads when they say, hey, like we did this back in the day, we did now what they do is ridiculous. But when it comes to players back in the day, like, yeah, in the 90s and early 2000s with Michael Jordan and those guys and Kobe Bryant, those guys, it was a goal for them to go out there and play 82 games. They weren't like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna miss 10 games because I have to rest or stuff like that. No, like it was a goal for them to go out there and give their best and be available for all 82 and give the fans what they've been paying for and what they want to see, which is the best players on the court. And it was a pride thing. And yeah, I hate to say it because LeBron's my guy and he's on my team, but LeBron's a big part of it. And also Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, when it came to resting players, they started giving us the backhand when it comes to going out there and being for us. And yeah, it's making them pay for that because it's a big black guy to the league, and they cannot be doing that. And the ratings have gone down because of that. Like especially during COVID a couple years ago, I remember that. Well, obviously there was the COVID issues, but still, like with all the injuries and I don't know how many times I've seen. I'll get ready to watch a big game, and then before tip off, oh yeah, this player's out, this player's out, this player's out. And we're seeing a bunch of guys on the bench we haven't even heard of, and it's got to be fixed. And this 65 game rule was fixing it. So the players are gonna complain for it, but I think that it's viable, and the NBA cannot back down, and they got to keep this rule intact. And another thing is that in the NBA offseason, when it comes to training camp and preseason, they shortened it, and that's a bad thing, I think, because now we're seeing so many injuries because the players are coming in not in shape. They're not getting their stamina in. They're not getting their muscles ready for hard contact and for running the floor back and forth. And I think the NBA preseason needs to be extended more, and training camp needs to be extended more too. And these players got to come in shape, and that's a big part of it. So it's coming in shape, load management, the players not caring, and stuff like that. So yeah, this is the NBA putting their foot down, and they got to continue to do that. And if they do that, then hopefully we'll see some change, and the game will only grow from that. When it comes to the players being on the court. So that's that. Yep, I'm with it. NBA, keep the rule. All right, so let's move on to Victor Wembanyama, and the dude obviously is having an outstanding year. Has the Spurs in the place where nobody expected, and second in the Western Conference behind the Spurs. Literally a game behind them. They're right there on their tail, and they're challenging them for the first overall seed in the Western Conference. And Victor Wembanyama came out in the press conference a couple of days ago, and he was asked if he deserves to be MVP. And to his credit, man, he did not back off of it one bit. He said that he's for sure should win the MVP. He said that 50% of the game is defense, and you can't argue with the dude. The dude's telling facts. I could hate if he was saying stuff that he hasn't backed up, but the dude has backed everything up. The dude is by far the best defender in the game. He's an absolute unicorn. He's 7'5" with a crazy wingspan. He can move like a guard, super skilled. He can shoot it, and yeah, the guy is very viable for MVP. And as I said, he has the Spurs in the place that nobody thought, and they beat the Thunder 3 out of 4 times this year, and yeah, he has a big chance in this playoffs if he goes out there and wins an NBA title in his 3rd year in the league. The sky's the limit for the guy, man. The guy could become the best player in the game starting next year if he indeed wins the title this year. And yeah, a lot of people in the media are saying that he should have not came out and said that it's show us, don't tell us. And what's wrong? And I think that's ridiculous, man. You have to if you can go out there and back it up, why not say it? And I love that he said it. I hate the same cliche answers. Oh, well, I'll go out there and I'll show you. I'll let my play do the talking, or well, I'll let you guys decide, or stuff like that. No, he went out there and said, "Hey, I'm him. I'm the best player in this game, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna show you guys with me telling you and showing you." And he's doing it, man. And the Spurs are a real threat to win the championship. I think for sure that they're going to the conference finals. Although I hope they lose in the second round to the Lakers, but that's another story. But if I was to be a bettor, I'm picking the Spurs to win that series. And yeah, they're going to the conference finals, in my opinion, for sure. And they'll play the Thunder, and they have a real chance to beat the Thunder, I think, because they have that guy in Wemby, who's a big eraser on both ends of the court, and he's only gonna get better, man. And that's the crazy thing too, because he's already by far the best defender in the game when it comes to blocking shots, getting out there and contesting shots. He can move, and yeah, he already has defensive player of the year locked up already. That's already his award. He doesn't even have to play another game because the dude leads the lead in blocks, and he's just the best defender in the game. But the scary thing is that he's a good offensive player, but he hasn't even hit his peak yet when it comes to his offense, man. The guy is still trying to get stronger. He's still a little too skinny, but if he gets more strength in him, man, it's gonna be hell for opposing centers and big men to defend him, because the dude is exceptionally skilled. He's really fast, and if he can get some better post moves, a little better footwork in him, and the dude will do it. He'll contact the some of the best NBA big men, former NBA big men out there, to help him with his footwork. And if he can get some legit post moves in there, along with that jump shot that he has, which is pretty good, but I would prefer for him to be still in the paint. But yeah, if he can develop a post game along with that athleticism and that skill, man, I don't know who's gonna stop him, man. At that size, sheesh. The only thing that can stop him at that point is just his health, and I hope that that's not a big part of his career when it comes to his health, because yeah, a guy that size moving that fast, that's a lot of stress on your joints, and I hope that he can keep up with that and his body doesn't break down. But if he's healthy, yeah, the guy is an absolute monster, and he's an eraser, and he can just dominate a game on both ends. He's like a Shohei Ohtani. He can literally control an entire game when it comes to the defensive end, when it comes to the offensive end. And yeah, with that kind of game, he is going to be in the running and probably be the favorite to be MVP for years to come, because he's still really young. He's still in his early 20s, which is insane. So yeah, he's going to dominate the NBA for the next decade or two, and he's a super special talent. So I'm wishing him the best. Hopefully we'll see who will win the MVP. If I was giving my odds, I think that it would be SGA win the MVP. I think Luka and him are neck and neck for second, but if I was to pick, I think Luka, because he's just been an absolute terror, and he has the Lakers in a place that nobody thought they would be in because they look like they were going to be in the dumps for most of the year, and he has them third in the West. So I think Luka second. I will put Wemby at third. Jaylen Brown is fourth place in my opinion, and in fifth, although he doesn't qualify, but I think Kate Cunningham will be fifth. But since he doesn't qualify, because as I said in the last segment, he hasn't reached the 65 games, I would put Nikola Jokic as the fifth guy. But yeah, Wemby, if he keeps doing his thing, and if he gets the Spurs to the first overall seed, he can for sure he can leapfrog those other two guys that have for first and second place, and he can take the MVP home. Because a lot of people in the media are starting to change their mind, and they're saying, hey, maybe I will pick Wemby as my MVP pick, and he's making the case for it, and he wants it, and he wants to be the best in the game, and if he keeps playing his ass off and he goes out there and he keeps producing and giving people problems and gives the Spurs their first overall seed in the West and in the league, then hey, he's got a real shot, man. So Wemby, talk your talk, man. Talk your talk, back it up, brother, and do your thing. And I'm rooting for you, man. So good for him. And to close it out, the MLB got going this week. It was a pretty lackluster game. Opening night, Giants-Yankees. Giants won it pretty easily, 7-0. And yeah, the Netflix broadcast was a little shaky in my opinion. There was a bit too much ads. There was the commentary was not the greatest, although I love Matt Vasgersian, but when it comes to some of the commentary, it was a little on and off, and it wasn't the best. And it could be better, but you know it was the first time on Netflix, so they'll only get better from it. So I'm hoping that they get the broadcast top notch, and it can be a legit service for people to go out there and watch baseball. But after that, Dodgers came out got the championship banner raised up, did their thing, and they look just as advertised, man. Won 8-2 over the Diamondbacks, and they look like they're primed to go out there and go for the three-peat. It's gonna be a fun season overall. A lot of good teams this year, and it's gonna be a fun season. And with that, I'm gonna give my MLB awards predictions: who will win Rookie of the Year, who will win Cy Young, who will win MVP, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. So starting with the AL Rookie of the Year, he really got my attention last year in the postseason for the AL champion Blue Jays. I'm going with Trey Savage. He really played well in the playoffs. Had a really good game in the World Series where it looked like the Blue Jays were gonna ride from that and win the World Series, but of course the Dodgers came back and won it and showed hard and came back. But yeah, Trey Savage, guys, this guy is a very good pitcher, and some people are arguing that he should not be eligible because he did pitch in the playoffs last year and he came into the season late, but he didn't get the qualified votes or qualified games when it comes to qualifying for the Rookie of the Year last year, so he's eligible for this year. And with that on his belt and that experience coming into the season, he's pretty much a certified vet. So I think he's gonna go out there and get even better. He's still very young, and the guy has a good arsenal of pitches. He can throw a fastball, slider. That split finger fastball he has is pretty good. He throws it from a very high arc on his delivery. He throws it from up here, so it's hard to pick up. And yeah, the guy can be a really good pitcher this year, and he's going to be an anchor. I wouldn't say he's the ace of the staff, but he's up there with him and Dylan Cease when it comes to being the top two guys in that pitching staff for the Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays have a lot of expectations this year, obviously, because they went to the World Series last year, and they have a real shot to make it this year. And he's going to be a big part of it. So I think Trey Savage is going to be a really good player this year, and I think he'll take home the Rookie of the Year for the Blue Jays. Now for the NL Rookie of the Year. This one I really thought hard about, but I'm going to say Nolan McLean from the New York Mets. He came into the season also late last year and made his debut and had a couple of games. And the dude has some good stuff. We saw in the WBC this year, although he gave up a couple of runs and didn't have his best outing in the WBC, but he played pretty well when it came to pitching in the championship game. Went out there, gave up 2 runs, but showed some promise. The guy has a hard fastball, good off-speed pitches, and he also is gonna be relied on a lot to be a key contributor for the Mets because the Mets are one of the favorites to challenge the Dodgers and winning the NL pennant, and he's gonna be a big part of it because they went out there and they got Freddie Peralta from the Brewers, but other than him, the Mets starting rotation is still a little iffy, and Nolan McLean is going to be a big key to make that a strength and really help out the starting pitching, and the kid has really good stuff, and he's going to be relied on a lot, so I think he's gonna have a good year for the Mets, and the Mets overall are gonna have a good year, and they're gonna be a real scary team in the NL East and overall in the National League. So I got Nolan McLean for National League Rookie of the Year. And in the AL, when it comes to Cy Young, this one's tough, man, because Tarik Skubal is the back-to-back AL Cy Young winner, and dude is still up there with Paul Skeens for being the best pitcher in baseball, and he has a lot to prove this year because obviously he was in trade rumors this offseason, and he's been in trade rumors the last pretty much 2 years, and he has a lot to prove. And if he indeed wants to get traded, he's going to go out there and he's going to try to do his best to be a good performer. And I'm pretty sure he will because the dude is an absolute stud and he's dominant. So we'll see about that. But my pick for the Cy Young this year in the AL is going to be Garrett Crochet from the Boston Red Sox. He finished second last year when it comes to Cy Young, and I think he has a big chip on his shoulder, and I think he's gonna come out and try to win that Cy Young this year. He had a real good case last year because the dude led the league in innings pitched, he led the league in strikeouts, and he's for sure the bona fide ace in Boston. And the Red Sox are expected to have a good year. I picked them to make the playoffs. I didn't pick them to be the division winner in the AL East, but I picked them to be a wild card, and he's a big reason why because the dude is a tall physical specimen from the left side, hard fastball, really good curveball, and he has a big chip on his shoulder as I said because he wanted that Cy Young last year and he had a real chance to win it, but Tarik Skubal was just too dominant and he deserved it, and I'm not going to argue with that. Tarik Skubal is a stud as I said. But Crochet, he's up there, man. He's gonna do good things for the Red Sox this year, and the Red Sox have a really good team. And I think he's gonna go out there and win the Cy Young. So AL Cy Young, Garrett Crochet. Now to the NL Cy Young, and this one, although he didn't have a great outing in his first game against the Mets, but I got Paul Skeens winning his second straight in the National League. He's just great, man. There's nobody else that can touch him when it comes to National League pitchers. He is great. He didn't get a lot of help from Ono Cruz. Ono Cruz probably that might have been his last game as a center fielder because that was by far one of the worst defensive outings when it comes to playing defense in center field, and he might be a DH after that. But I could be wrong. But if I was the manager of the Pirates, I would really consider taking him out of center field. But anyway, Paul Skeens, the reigning Cy Young Award winner out of the National League. The dude is just an absolute monster. Fastball that reaches 102, 103. It's unbelievable. Hard slider, curveball, sweeper. He throws a split finger sinker, calls it the splinker. It's absolutely unhittable. And he throws a regular sinker as well. And the dude is just an absolute monster, and he really showed up, and he was probably the only guy that showed up for Team USA the entire tournament, and he was pretty much untouchable and was dominant the entire tournament. And if he can just be on the better team, because the Pirates are an absolute travesty, they're not going to be good this year. They'll be a little better, obviously, because of him, because they'll have a full season out of him, and they added maybe a couple of other players, and they're still pretty young. But the Pirates are not expected to do a lot this year, and they're going to be a pretty bad team, as I said. But when it comes to him, he still last year on a bad team had a 1.97 ERA, and I think he's going to continue to build off of that. And I just hope that mentally he's not broken down because he's going to be on a bad team again, and hopefully that doesn't lead to him possibly giving up and not pitching as well as he did last year. But I think he still is a gamer, and I still think he wants to go out there and compete the best that he can, and I think he will do it again, and he will win the Cy Young Award for the second straight year in the National League. Now to MVP, and this is a big one. And I know this is the Aaron Judge Shohei Ohtani Invitational as expected for the next couple of years. But I think in the American League, he got robbed last year. I think he should have been the MVP last year. I think it's going to be Cal Raleigh. I don't expect him to hit another 60 home runs, obviously. Like, it's going to be tough. He has a chance because he's a really good power hitter. But to hit 60 home runs again as a catcher, that's going to be tough. But I still think he's going to hit at least 45 to 50. And he's going to do the best he can to put up another MVP campaign. And I think he will get it done. And I think there will be a little voter fatigue against Aaron Judge, because there is such thing as voter fatigue. Because hell, Michael Jordan could have won MVP a lot of years in his career, but they gave it to other players because they were like, hey, we know Michael Jordan's the best player in the game, but other players are having big years too, and they deserve an MVP. So I think it's going to be the same thing when it comes to the American League MVP, and I just think Cal Raleigh's going to go out there and do his thing and put up big numbers again. And I think the voters are gonna take a big look at it and be like, hey, I think he deserves it, and I think he deserves it. So I think Cal Raleigh is going to win MVP, and he has a lot to prove and a lot to show for a Mariners team that is expected to be a really good team this year and get back to the playoffs and do big things in the playoffs. So he's a big part of it, and I think he will be the MVP when it comes to that. And last but not least, in the NL MVP, Shohei Ohtani. There's just nobody better in the National League. The dude is by far the best player in the game. He can pitch, he can hit, and yeah, he's gonna go for his 5th MVP, which is crazy because the all-time leader in MVPs in MLB history is Barry Bonds, and Ohtani is gonna be right there on his toes if he gets his 5th, and he has a real shot to do it because think about it. Last year he won the MVP, hit over 50 home runs as a leadoff guy. And he pitched about 50 innings or something like that. But this year, the leash is off him, man. The leash is off him, and he's going to be a full-time pitcher and full-time hitter this year. And he's going to go out there and do his thing and have a really good year as a pitcher. A lot of people are thinking that he has a chance to possibly win the Cy Young. I want to go that far, but I think he can be in the running, and he can be one of the best pitchers in the National League this year. But even then, he'll still do a lot pitching and hitting because I still think he can hit another 50 home runs. He's just that special of a hitter, and the overall talent is just through the roof. There's nothing else I can say. He's just an absolute unicorn and a monster, and he's by far the best player in the game. And credit to him and Aaron Judge. Those two guys have really helped the sport grow, and they're by far the best two players in the game. And they're really doing a good thing for the game. So credit to those two guys. And yeah, I think Ohtani's gonna do it again, and he's gonna be a big part of obviously history for the Dodgers. They're trying to go for their 3rd straight, and it'll be the first time since the early 2000s, and it's gonna be a big part because of him. And I think when it comes to winning a 3rd straight, he needs to have by far his best year in the playoffs that he's had in his career. He's had, iffy, okay playoffs. He's had his moments. He obviously had that great game last year, arguably the greatest game ever played last year against the Brewers. But other than that, he's hitting, in the mid 200s, and he strikes out a little more, and the pressure kind of gets to him. So I think when it comes to winning a 3rd straight, he's gonna have to show that he's not to be an MVP caliber player in the playoffs to get this done and for the Dodgers to win a 3rd straight, because everyone's coming for them and they're coming at their heads, and they're the hunted and they want to take them down. So Ohtani has to be the guy to lead the groups this year, and I think he can do it. So to review, Rookie of the Year in the AL, Trey Savage. National League Rookie of the Year, Nolan McLean. AL Cy Young, Garrett Crochet. National League Cy Young, Paul Skeens. American League MVP, Cal Raleigh. And the National League MVP, again, Shohei Ohtani. And with that, guys, it's great to be back. As I said, this is my second episode back after a long hiatus at helping the other company with their content. And it's just I just hope that you guys stick with me. And I'm here for the long run, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. And sports are going in a great direction right now, and it's fun to talk about. So with that, this is the West Coast Mindset Sports Podcast, episode 20, and I will see you guys next week.
This the West, 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 West. This the West, 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 the West Coast. This the West, 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 the West, West. This the West, 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 the